I haven't paid a lot of attention to this particular part. And that is Belinda reaching out to Malehya, a recent one, 10 days. Was it 10 days ago? Well, the video is from 10 days ago. And so it must have happened a couple of weeks ago, I think. It wasn't the first time. It wasn't Malehya. Belinda reached out to Malehya the day that the children were reported missing. But this was a little bit after that. Quite a while, a few weeks after that, actually. But anyways, I want to talk a little bit about her responses to Belinda, because Belinda's asking some really good questions. I hope you guys are able to see it. I will read it to you. Do you believe in your heart that Daniel could have hurt them? That's a very direct question from Belinda. And that was after Belinda gave her longer interview with mainstream media. And in that interview, she talked about a lot of things, right? She said, among them, I think somebody hurt them. And she hasn't backtracked from that. That whole Darren, whatever, I haven't listened to him. I'm not going to listen to him. I'm not going to waste my time or my energy on something that I already know is bogus. Just an FYI. And I encourage and by the way, if somebody listens to that interview and then says, because of you, I listened to that interview with Darren because you said, because you're using a criming shame as your go-to. Well, of course I'm using this as a go-to because they are the ones who get the messages. I give credit when due. I'm not a side taker. I'm a truth seeker. I'm a statement analyst. Forensic linguistics is key to discovering what happened. And I don't care where the truth comes from. It doesn't mean I encourage you to listen to the entire life and whoever they decide to bring on. And I thought I made it clear because I'm not a babysitter. I thought I made it very, very clear. So I don't know, but he's been acting suspicious. If she said, I don't know, that would be reliable, short and sweet. I don't know. Well, how wouldn't you know? You were there, first of all. So it wouldn't make sense. So this is already a straight up lie, and it's not reliable because it's not a short and sweet answer saying, I don't know. And that is because of the but. Whenever somebody says but, forget everything they had already told us. So when somebody says to you, you're one of my best friends, but sorry to say it, but you're not one of that person's best friends. Disregard everything. It's sort of wiping their conscience clean with this qualifier. But he's been acting suspicious. What is she saying here? Mind you, she doesn't want to tell us what happened, and neither does Daniel. And the reason is because she, as she calls it, is protecting Meadow from CPS. Because if they find out what really happened in that house that night or the evening before, I believe they would not be, neither of them, the CPS would take Meadow away from both of them. Your lawyers can speak on, okay, well, that part comes later. Okay? So again, if you have been overloaded and exposed yourself to a bunch of garbage, useless garbage that you're listening to, with rumors, with all the... Sorry, but you need to first clear your mind before you watch my videos, because otherwise it's not going to sink in. Because your mind needs to first get rid of whatever assumptions you may have because you cannot have confirmation bias. We need to listen only to what they're telling us. I don't know, but he's been acting suspicious. Yep. She cannot deny that Daniel hurt them, or at least one of them. She cannot say, no, I was there. He couldn't have. I wouldn't have allowed it. I would have woken up. I would have been. It's impossible, people. So what she is giving us is a form of communication with Daniel right now, an attempt to reach him. What she's doing is telling Daniel, you are acting suspicious and you are too worried about what people think. It's almost like she is guiding him, telling him, you're going to mess it up for all of us. Because, again, who are you protecting Meadow from? CPS. She is quiet because she knows whatever role she played, be it active or be it having witnessed and not having stepped in to protect her children, whatever it may be, would be enough for her not to have custody of her daughter. They would take her daughter away from her. That is her only priority. And remember, Logan said, Meadow, Meadow, Meadow. That's why Logan wanted Meadow to have some sort of control over Malehya. That's even why he still talks about he has all her belongings. How dare she get her car towed without coming back? He wants a chance to talk to her. He wants the relationship to continue, unless he will find somebody else, right? Then he's probably going to move on real quickly. But right now, yet again, he's going to be worried that eventually there will be some sort of leakage. Maybe one day she will have a new boyfriend and maybe she will have a drink or two or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Who knows what people do, right? And then say the wrong thing. These things can happen. It's better for Logan, Daniel and Logan. Oh my God, I'm not even getting into this, but Daniel is just a doofus. But Logan is a little bit smarter, and she feels very confident because she grew up with people that are dumber than her, maybe. Right? You know people like that who think they're very bright because the people that they grew up with were even lower on the food chain. And so is too worried about what people think about him. Now she is being very careful here. And she had a lot of time to think. So she is telling us, yes, do you believe in your heart that Daniel could have hurt them? And she doesn't ask, do you know? She's being also very careful not to say, did Daniel hurt them? Which I would have been a little more direct. I mean, but that's a personality thing where she may be worried that she's gonna turn her off, because it looks like she initiated the conversation with that. And probably very quickly after she, remember, right after the kids were reported missing, like the day or another or the second day after, that's when Malehya stopped responding to her. So I'm assuming that there was a communication pause, a long pause. And after Belinda went on TV to give her interview, I think that's when she figured, now may be a really, really good time for me to ask Malehya something, not too directly, but more directly than I wanted to before, than I did before. So I don't know if I need to make it clearer or not, but this is a really big one, people. And just take your time to look at it. Well, I don't know if you can see it, or if you see it well. Let me see what I can do. So not only is she not denying that he could have hurt them, he is too worried about what people think about him. He is acting suspicious. This is her message. Daniel, you're going to remember? Remember our pact. Remember what we talked about. You're going to screw it up for all of us. So maybe at times she was taking on that role of being Daniel's advisor in the past, and she knows that she knows him. So she feels a need to put a stop to it from the distance and not focus on my kids at all. What she is telling him is, you know what? People are going to know because of you. And absolutely, the reason I became interested in the case to begin with was because I saw his fake crying. And then I listened to him a little bit, then I listened to Malehya, and then I went right back to Daniel. And oh my gosh, it did not disappoint. All right, let's take a break. This is the sunset, baby. Anyhow, anywho, that's the message. You need to talk about my kids once in a while. You can't just talk about yourself. And according to Cheryl, now things come a little bit clearer. She is reading what's going on online. She's not searching for the kids. She never had searched for the children. She knows exactly what happened to them. But she is worried about damage control, and she's worried about her daughter Maddo. That's why Logan said, Maddo, Maddo, Maddo. Everything is Maddo, Maddo. So, everything he's doing is art, and the police advised him to stay away from the media, to stop contacting me, and he has tried to steal money from my account though through Timu, because my card was attached to his account. So everything is not right. Right? So she's doing two things here. Remember, Daniel, police told you, keep your mouth shut. But he can't. She is telling him it would be very smart on your part to do that. Why? My main focus right now is to protect Maddo and find my kids. The first priority is protect Maddo. And as she has told us, don't forget to mention the kids here. So she mentions them, but at the very end. This is some serious distancing between main focus and find my kids. That is not a priority at all. And her only focus should be to search for to find the children, because Maddo is safe with you, right? And there shouldn't be anything to worry about. If you're a good mother and you didn't witness anything and you have no knowledge and there's nothing that they can put on you, so we don't know what the CPS reports were about a few months ago. But it seems to me Daniel is the focus, because Logan told us very clearly he has proven himself again and again. Daniel had to prove himself, not Malehya. There's something that Daniel did to the children, or somehow, some way that he acted, something that Daniel has done or been doing in terms of how he treated the children was worth noting. He couldn't see Maddo without supervision, but Malehya can have her. So whatever is in the report points back to Daniel and only Daniel. Even though, they may say, hey, she doesn't even try to protect her children. So she's negligent, but she's not, they found no fault, no violence, no anger, and I believe Belinda when she said she used to be a great mother, but something changed. What changed? Daniel. And we have learned that Cheryl said, for 2 years, she had no contact with Malehya. Nobody had. Daniel was very controlling. So this is was a very unhealthy relationship, people. The moment that you are okay, so when you get in a relationship, I have learned this about myself that there are times when you're happy and then you realize, you know what, some of these people I've been hanging out with, they're so negative and they always have relationship issues and then want to generalize how women are and give you, they want to pass on their negative energy to somebody. Where I realize, you know what, things are going really well right now. I don't need any of this by choice. But it doesn't. I looked at the picture of Cheryl and Malaya at the beach, and they seem very close. And I think that she had some really close friends before Daniel, and still now. And she's better one on one with people. Some people are better in front of an audience. Like I feel like I am one of those people, which can be good, which can be not so good. And I know that Daniel is one of those people. If he's in front, if you ask him questions one on one, he probably will run away. But when he has an audience, that's when he probably feels like, okay, now I got the power to tell people what to believe. Daniel has been saying to YouTubers that he believes you had the kids taken that morning, and he woke up when you came back to bed. You see, I didn't pay too much attention to this before, but now I am. Let him soar. Of course, you mean let him say whatever he wants. I can't say anything to anyone anymore. Now, this is not a reliable denial, but in the context, it has the power to elevate itself above Daniel in general, because she has been worn out by him doing media after media after media. She doesn't feel a need to reply to this. There is no pressure or stress indicated here. She keeps it short and doesn't continue. She doesn't feel a need to explain anything else. If there was wrongdoing on your part, it would be expected to say, how could this have been? Because he would have woken up and I would earlier and their dogs. No, she doesn't do any of that. She could be talking about the dogs. She could be talking about a lot of different things, but she doesn't. It's complete. It's sort of like my reaction to the Darren character, right? What do you think? Do you think he's telling you the truth? Us the truth. That's what the messages that I'm getting. I don't reply to these messages because it's like, I'm sorry, dude, but I am, going to take the high road on this one. I'm not going to reply to anything that's thoughtless, where people pass on to me whatever garbage they get somewhere else. Before you come to my house, wipe your shoes. Don't, it's not my fault if you pay attention to a bunch of nonsense, and I'm not going to be bothered by it, but I will note it. And I've noted that the people who've been the greatest contributors in every single way, be it messages, be it comments, be it live chat comments, they haven't paid any attention, maybe minimal, maybe a little bit. They have asked the others, what do you think? And then they say, yep, me, same thing. I ignore it. There is nothing. There's no smoking gun here. There's absolutely nothing worth replying. And I think also Daniel may have done a little bit of research Daniel's style. And he may have, who knows, through my videos come across the case of Sebastian and sort of felt like, Chris Proudfoot, damn, a year later, no arrests, no anything. Wow, he must be doing something. Oh, Yeah, they came up with a bunch of bullshit stories. And, well, I don't have the money for Stephen Fisher, but I can get some dude from that family who's not happy with that family. Okay, good. So, hey, it would be wonderful to have his phone records right now, man, to have his phone and see all the nonsense, how it all started, how the communication started. You would you would kick yourself for having paid attention to it, trust me. So, your lawyer can speak on your behalf. That's what she's asking now. Yes. Very short answer. Yes. Thank God for that, right, Malaya? Seems that. Okay, what was that? So Daniel is putting. What? And by the way, if you have a. Okay, seems. Yeah, seems like it. Seems like it. So Daniel is putting all eyes on you. Seems like it. But I'm not following the media, and we've asked people to respectfully not send things to me. Really. Yeah, maybe people send her all kind of stuff to get a rise out of her or get her to respond. And if they feel it is of concern, to send it to the police. Yep, she is done. She is done with any allegations. Not worth her time. She got a lawyer. So, what was this one? Who are you protecting Meadow from? CPS. I can't even listen to that. We heard all this. Watching your grandmother's cousin has been, thinking the same thing. Too has been on social media that morning and woke up when you came back to bed. Okay, this is being continued by this. Your grandmother's cousin, yeah, has been thinking the same thing. He he too has been on social media. Okay, that they're talking about that character. Oh my God, I can't even listen to that. We heard all this. Yeah, she's very dismissive. But again, she doesn't feel a need to offer any other explanation. Not like Chris Proudfoot, who will go on and on and on, trying to get people to look into a different direction. Right? Next question. That's how he goes. She's not like that. She's not concerned about it. And she's saying if they feel it is of concern, to send it to the police. Yeah. So let me go back to this Cheryl interview for a minute here. Okay?
I was actually there on Friday myself, and
Okay, so hold.
Uh-oh, the authority. The idiot's coming in. Hold on.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. You were where on Friday, and which Friday?
Why didn't you introduce Cheryl properly and say she is Maleha's friend? Why didn't you do your due diligence? That's your job. You're the moderator here.
And where are you from?
It was May 2nd. I live in Truro. I'm good friends with Malehya. I just wanted to kind of touch on a few things that you said. So we were the ones that actually found the blanket, and as far as I knew, the blanket was on the railing, not in the garbage. And Malehya didn't leave Saturday morning. It was Saturday evening because an altercation had broken out, and Daniel's mother actually tried to attack me.
Yep, that's the part that I was going to get to. Daniel's mother tried to attack her, but for what? You know, that whole family, there's something really wrong with that family, man. Really, really wrong. And obviously, we haven't heard from Daniel's mother or brother anything. There's a reason for that. So she actually tried to attack her.
So it was well after supper Saturday when she actually left the premises.
Okay.
She's keeping it so short and sweet. Cheryl doesn't really have an agenda other than protecting her friend, but she knows a lot. And she is determined not to reveal what she knows. She is extremely careful. And you hear this also later with all of the dead air, where the moderator has no clue what to say. It's completely clueless, doesn't have a question on mind blank, right? But Cheryl also, she didn't do nothing. So she is like, okay, I'm here. She's not, she's very passive here. She's not trying to prove anything. But she is concealing what she thinks would hurt Malehya, her friend. And I think I'm going to leave it at that, people. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.